Hi, this is Catherine and welcome back to Taking Tea with Catherine. This is another herbal tea, Ahmad lemon ginger tea. I'm going to be talking about myself today, so I will start off by saying, yes, I have another cold. If you enjoy watching someone who's a slight hypochondriac and always has something to complain about, well, you've come to the right place. So I have a little bit of a cold, but herbal tea helps so much. So does black tea, but it's getting to be a little bit later in the day, and no one wants to see that. So delicious, though, I have to say. For something that's beneficial, it's very good, very refreshing. I don't know, might be good iced as well. All right, so I have been tagged. This is the first time I'm aware of being tagged. I have done one or two that someone has said, you know, if you want to do this tag, go for it. But I wasn't specifically tagged, so I might have done that. I think with Jane Austen I did that. But as far as I know, and if I'm wrong and you want to mention that you've tagged me before, you are welcome to do so in the comments, but I think this is my first direct one. So thank you, Elizabeth Ann Reeds, for tagging me, whose channel, by the way, I shall link below along with all the other people that I tag later. She's got a really nice channel. And so introduce myself. I am Catherine. As I said before, Catherine Tom is my name. And booktubing is my game now. I don't know, I'm also quite corny. I don't know what to say about myself. I am single. This is not a dating video. But happily so. I have 2 cats. I am kind of a crazy cat lady, but not all the way, because I have a little bit of an allergy, so I have to keep myself a little self-control there. So right now I only have 2 cats. If I had a choice, I'd probably have 5, but I'm not there. I would actually have 3 in the apartment that I live in. I think that would be quite nice. I've had 3 before and lived with it. But right now, 2 is probably the best I can do. And guess what? I enjoy it. They don't like each other, but I love them, so that's good. I live in New York. New York City, technically. I live in Queens, New York, which is a borough. And I live in Western Queens, which is quite close to Manhattan, especially Midtown and Uptown Manhattan. So I also work in Midtown, so my commute, in case you were wondering, isn't that bad. I'm only saying that because I don't have that much time to read on my commute, but I try to make time for it. I am quite a city girl. I don't drive. I love walking. I also like long walks on the beach. No, this is not a dating video. But I do actually. It feels good to walk on the beach. But no, I'm mostly a city walker. I love comfortable shoes. I do like the convenience of having everything close by, but I am not a people person, which is kind of hard when you live in a city where every block you walk on in the daylight, and probably at night too, you can't help but being overrun by like 10 people. And then you cross the street and there's bikes and there's cars and it's just everywhere. Okay, I'm complaining. But yes, otherwise I am a city girl. I do like nature. I call myself a lazy bird watcher, which means I like to watch birds, but I don't want to put the time and the effort to get the equipment to do so. Yeah, no. Like the camera stuff or the binoculars, although I'd love a lovely pair of binoculars, but I don't get involved in organized bird watching groups. I have been known to disrupt some of them by accident, but I go to the park, which is usually Central Park, as often as I can, although recently not so much. And I mostly go there to just walk around and read, but I also look for birds that I don't see every day. My favorite is ducks. Most seafowl, but mostly ducks, because they're just, I don't know, there's something so funny about them and cute. So I like to watch ducks. I like hawks, but they're a little creepy. Like, not creepy to me, but if I were a little animal, I'd find them creepy. So I kind of have a little empathy for the critters. And yeah, I like birds to watch in general. But yes, I'm not a professional bird watcher. I do like nature, but I don't do any strenuous nature walks. I just enjoy things like flowers and trees. Love trees so much. But I'm going on about myself. Let's see, what else did I mention? Yes, I think I mentioned I have 2 sisters. I mention them all the time, I think, on this channel. Both of them are readers as well. One of them lives quite close to me in Queens. One of them lives in Texas, but we make an effort to see each other as often as possible. We're quite close. Yeah, so I think that's enough about me. I work in an office. I don't usually talk about my job on this channel because, I don't know, I don't like to mix it that much. Did I mention I like tea? Yes. Very much so. I've loved tea since I was quite young. In order of things I've been obsessed with, probably would start with books, then London, because I'm quite the Anglophile, and tea kind of the same time, and then cats. Once I got my first cat as a teenager, maybe right before that, Queen. I don't know if you can see I'm wearing a Queen t-shirt today, or whatever kind of shirt you call this. And other things in general. Whenever I get into something, I get into it big time. It's a bit much. Yes, I do. I really go full throttle in my interests, and sometimes it can be distracting from regular life. So it's both good and not always good. But it's good. It's good as a reader because it gives me a lot to read about. As a person, I'm not great interacting in public that much, but I think once I get excited about a subject, I can talk your ear off. So, number 2, how long have you been on Booktube? So, June 3rd, I joined up, and I started my first video, which was an unhaul. I just wanted to go right into it. I never even did the newbie tag. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. And so over 3 months now, I've been on Booktube. And 3, what types of video do you make? Well, mostly the basic types. They are, let me think, the TBRs, the hauls, the unhauls, the wrap-ups, reviews. I have done a few other things of my own, like the journals and, pick a journal. I did a TBR at the beach, which was kind of ironic because I didn't read on the beach at all this year. It was just random pairings. I like to do pairings, which, as I'll mention right now, this channel for me was supposed to be an extension of my blog that I've had for like 14 years, which is, I don't update as much as I used to, and doesn't actually have as many followers as I have here, which is quite amazing. So yeah, it's a fun blog to me. It's mostly about tea and books and stuff like that, and I like to let out my grumpiness in writing. But so this ties in pretty nicely. I sort of the videos I make are similar in the sense the posts I made, except for maybe I'm a little more cheerful here, I think. Yes, but pairings, when I say pairings, it's mostly I try to take whatever theme I'm talking about with books and pair it with whatever tea I'm drinking. It's not always a perfect science, but it's okay. 4, what do you love about Booktube? What's not to love? Well, I mean, there are things I don't love about it. I found some repetitiveness, but that's okay because actually, like I said, when I like something, I really like it. I like to know a lot about it. So when I find channels that are into the people are into a lot of similar things that I like, then I really do like that. I also just I like hearing people talk about books, especially when they really love it. And I love the variety, the discovering other books that I hadn't heard of. I mean, I could go online and Google things, and I could go on Amazon, but I'm never gonna get that feeling. I mean, I do get a great feeling when I'm just wandering a bookshop or a library and I find books that I love just randomly. But I do like hearing people who love books and who read even more than I do for the most part, recommending books. And sometimes I like the books and sometimes I don't. All right. Speaking of which, what types of books do I read? Well, I do read pretty widely, but I have certain preferences. I do read a lot of nonfiction, and that is mostly history, biography / memoir. I like that a lot. I like to get into people's heads because I'm not always good at reading people in public, in person, so it's good to get behind the scenes, as it were. So I do like history, mostly, as I've said before, the British history, but I also like other history, American, European, even Asian, African, South American. If it's well written, I mean, then it will be well read. I like to read about tea, obviously. Sometimes I like to read about food too. I'm not a foodie, but I do sometimes like to read food history. In a sense, I like to read about science, but I'm not really into formulas and math. So when I read about science, it's usually really conversationally written. So I like to read about animals and like I said, I like birds and cats and stuff, so I like to read about that. And I'm probably missing something. Oh yeah, well, duh, fiction. I like to read mysteries, as I mentioned here before. Oh yeah, that's one of the things that I do. I've decided to do a tea mystery thing. I only started it last month, so I'm gonna keep that going, I hope. I like to read, I do read a little bit of fantasy, but not a lot. I like classics. I like some contemporary literature, but I think I like classics slightly better. Um, I like humor, but not too much, like not too over the top humor in books. Oh my goodness, some science fiction. Not as much, but some. Yeah, I'm probably missing stuff. I don't read a lot of plays, although I would like to rectify that. I prefer to watch them, but that's okay. Um, yeah, so I think I'll move on. I'm probably missing stuff because I didn't write down. Oh, so unprepared. Uh, let's see. What is your favorite video that you've made? I think so far it's the ranking I did of the Jane Austen books, the big six. Because I got to talk about my favorite author, and I got to talk about all the books. I love them all, but it kind of helped me organize. I'm not really great at organizing my thoughts sometimes, so it helped me to really think about her books and really judge for myself how I feel about them without thinking about what other people prefer. I just went into my own head, and that was really cool. And I actually questioned myself a lot, because there's some books that like Pride and Prejudice was not first place and not even second place, and sometimes I'm wondering if I should change that. So it was a really cool thing. I think I don't know which yes, like I mentioned before, I like the one about the journals, just because I felt it was a little bit different and a little bit up my alley. I enjoyed writing about books about New York, talking about books about New York. That was kind of fun. I'm probably forgetting stuff, but yeah. I mean, I like generally a lot of the videos that I made. I hope that I like them. And yeah, that's it. So tag at least 4 small booktube channels. So I tried to go for people under 500. I was tagged by Elizabeth Ann from Elizabeth Ann Reads, or is she just Ann? Elizabeth Ann? Either way, thanks for tagging me. And I am tagging the following people. You don't have to do it, by the way, but if you want to, and if you've been tagged already, well then, good for you. But I can't know all the time. So I like Jennifer Brooks, Novels, Rainy Day Reads, and V's Reads and Rambles. I didn't see that they were tagged yet, so if you want to, go for it. Also, very good channels. I enjoy all these channels more than I can say. They're just great. So that's all for today. One of my shorter videos, not as short as I was planning to make it. But this is Catherine from Taking Tea with Catherine. Hope you're having a lovely day. Happy reading. Goodbye.